Eye Opener Productions presents Magical Kemet Revisited, Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, from 1:30 p.m. till 7 p.m. In honor of our previous Magical Kemet event 14 years ago, we once again bring you Master Teacher Mfundishi, Jhutyms, and Professor Kaba Kamene.
In ancient Kemet, they had showed that that's not a star there. I know it's a nebula. And a nebula gives birth to stars. And so Sirius A comes from that nebula. And then the ancient Kemet said, we also come from that nebula. That birthed our star. So this gets really deep. So we're going to, I'm telling people, bring some boots because it's going to get real deep. We're going in real deep.
In calling, so you are now going to understand that it is time now to move back and get back onto the path of Ma'at. And on the path of Ma'at is where you are on your road to your destiny and what you were called for. And the longer that you go on this road, as you become an elder and you get more mature and you're moving through, your journey becomes clearer.
Make sure you get your tickets in advance for $30. Tickets will be sold at the door for $40. For tickets, scan this code or go to magicalkemet.eventbrite.com. We will be at the Long Island University, Brooklyn campus, Health Science Building. Enter at the gate on Flatbush Extension between DeKalb and Willoughby.
Today's consciousness, today's consciousness, today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Today's consciousness. Today's consciousness. Right here on KSP TV. Today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. All right. Family. Welcome to another Tuesday. This is the second Tuesday that we're featuring one of our special guests, and this one of today's Tuesday. My Tuesday programs are called Today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community, and one of our special guests, and of course, you know, I got a subtitle: What happened, and how can we change it and heal it? Heal it. So this is an audience participation show, so people can call in and speak to me and the guests when we're talking, but don't call in now. We do want to get through the interview with our brother that's about to come on in. And I'm happy to have one of the elders, one of our great grandmasters coming in a few minutes. Of course, the one, the only Mfundishi Jhutyms. He's going to be coming in. Let's give that a round of applause. We're going to be bringing him in a few seconds. Give us 3 minutes and we'll have him in. Okay. I am happy. Believe me when I say I am happy to have this elder that's about to come in right here. And of course, the call, excuse me, the call-in number. And don't call in right yet. Let us delve into it. So by the half an hour, the bottom of the hour, around 8:30, y'all could call in. We'll start opening the lines to call in. But the call-in number, just in case, 718-210-8853. Or I might even put in the link where you could come in and talk to him directly. 718-210-8853. Last week we had Baba Dr. Phil Valentine, and he tore the place up, had a great time. We did a 1 hour and another hour, but this time I'm just going to keep it into an hour, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, maybe, depending on the call-ins and all that. The phone line is up and running. We ready. I'm making sure, checking all my lines, making sure everything is tight. Yeah. So welcome to King Simon Presents. Only quality people, because that's what I do. I don't like the drama. I don't allow drama. So if you are a troll, my quote is: trolls take a stroll somewhere else, because I ain't got no time for the trolling. You know what I'm saying? And when I did the numbers to trolling, it broke down to a number 44. And the number 4 in numerology is a mental health number. So it's telling me that something is wrong with you if you are constantly trolling. The power of the 44 is powerful, but the negative of the 44 that trolling adds up to, that is a problem, because that means you could be extremely mentally ill on a negative. So that 4 energy, when 4 shows up in any of your positions, in any of your numerical scopes, I tell y'all, be careful of your mental health. Remember, in my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, the 5 primary numbers for mental health is the number 4, the number 7, the number 8, the number 5, and the number 3. In my book, after I looked at all the patterns, the cycles, the sequences over years, since 1989, I've been watching this. And I've noticed that people have done too much stuff back in those days. And from that day till now, I've noticed that's where mental health numbers are even stronger, with those 5 numbers: 4, 7, 8, 5, and 3. So if you're born connected to those numbers in any way, I always let people know in my consultation to make sure you balance off your mental health, protect your mental health as much as possible. 5 and 3 are at the bottom of the totem pole because they deal with nervous issues, and sometimes nervousness and anxiety can lead to depression and also going down to mental health issues. So that's why I wrote the book, actually. That's why I wrote this book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. You can get it on Amazon and all that kind of stuff. That's why I wrote the book. All right, so it is now 8 o'clock, and the brother that I'm about to bring on here is a well-respected elder in our community. I've known him for many, many years, even going way back to all the ASCAC and all that, and watching them do what they do, and watching him grow and develop, even at his own spot, Black Gold, back in the day, coming over there and supporting his clothing. I have some of the pieces of his clothing. I was going to wear it today, but it's all packed up. I didn't want to join none of his clothing. But, you know, this brother is not only a grandmaster, Kemetic priest, scientist, African village chief, spiritual warrior, and holistic healer, but this brother is returning back to the LIU, where I seen him at that. I was there that time when he spoke that time also. And I'm glad that Brother Shabazz is reopening the LIU, and I'm going to welcome our brother at our new show on Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Let's welcome on our stage. He's not new to this. He's true to this. Let's welcome on our stage the one, the only, Mfundishi Jhutyms. Mfundishi.
Imhotep.
My
Uncle Johnson Neb Neb. Dua and Tef.
dua.
Dua.
always, always good to see you, Baba.
Yes, sir. It's always good to be seen by you.
Yes, I usually we walking through Harlem and he's there.
Yes, sir.
And I get books from him. I think I got your cards too. I also got the cards. Thank you very much for. I got the Magi. I got the Magi books. I got of course, Spiritual Warriors on the top here. So I always love what you've been doing for so many years and how you've helped the community, helped me as far as my growth into this consciousness, quote unquote. I kind of coined a new word called the conscientious conscious community, because the conscious community is going off it. But if you're conscientious, that means you're doing something good. And I believe that you are a part of the conscientious conscious community, because conscientious means doing something that's good and worthwhile.
Dua.
So how's the family? How you doing, my brother? How you?
Everybody's doing good. I can't complain. I'm eternally optimistic, eternally grateful, and I'm at a state of gratitude,
Me too.
which is my greatest comfort.
I have one of your prayers right here. I always have it sitting up here because you have a morning and afternoon and night prayer, and I
Right.
copied
Yes,
it
sir.
from the book, and I get a chance when I come into my office, those prayers are right there. And I want to thank you, Baba Mfundishi, for being of service to humanity with what you've done for plus 40, 50 years now, right? Over 50 years?
Yeah, over 50 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
for over 50 years. And he's also a grandmaster in martial arts who won many championships, but he don't even throw that around. But if you go and train him, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a stand that I learned how to do with you. Oh my gosh. When I do that for even 5 minutes, I'm scared. and Baba, I want to, because this program is called Today's Consciousness. I want you to go back and reflect on when you got into it. Was it introduced to you by your mother, your father? Who introduced being aware of yourself from not just a Kemetic perspective, but from African, Islamic? Because you have a lot of names. I don't even want to say your whole name, and I know it's connected to something. So go ahead,
Yes.
please.
Well, okay. My birth name is Hassan Kamal Salim.
Right.
Which means it's Swahili. So I trace my parents. My father is back to Tanzania, and my mother to Georgia. And so Hassan means one who is good.
Yes.
Kamal means a silent warrior. And then Salim is peace. So I'm a good silent warrior for peace. So that's my destiny.
I feel definitely. I like
Right. Then I became a Kemetic priest.
Yes.
And I became Jhutyms, in Haru,
Yes.
one who is articulate in thought, speech, writing, and action. Okay. So don't get the intellect twisted. We can go there too. So that's what the Haru is, higher consciousness,
Exactly.
And then a grandmaster in the martial arts, I became Mfundishi.
Yes.
So that's like, and now I'm actually a great grandmaster because I have grandmasters under me. My student Haru Orr was promoted last year to Mfundishi. So I have Mfundishis, Malangas, Fundis, and all of them under me, So that's over 50 years in the martial arts. I started in the martial arts in 1964, and under the command of, believe it or not, El Haj Malik El Shabazz Omawali Malcolm X.
Really?
When I joined the Organization of Afro-American Unity, he said 3 things are important: self-respect, self-determination, self-defense.
That's right.
To develop something and not be able to protect it is like not having it at all. So we will start right now. Let me have 20 push-ups.
Exactly.
On your knuckles.
Exactly. I tell my sons, I used to train my sons like that, on the knuckles, on their fingers.
Yes,
I still
right.
do knuckle push-ups, and and a lot of people don't. I do it on concrete. I show people that it can be still done on concrete or hard floors, because that's what. And I thank you very much, because I know even when I was in the Nation of Islam under people like Anthony Muhammad, GM Anthony Muhammad, Soki Little John, and Dr. Powell taught them. It was just like that. You know what I'm saying? We had to get in. So thank you very much for that. What
what we're seeing, I'm going to speak about Magical Kemet towards the end. I want to make sure because I want to let everybody know all of the links are pinned to the top of the chat. If you want to go to the live, if you can't make it there, you could go to the live stream. Also, if you can't make it there and you won't be able to get to, let's say, to New York City this weekend, you could also do the live stream. Big up to Felicia. She sent me that. And big up to Brother Shabazz for even producing this and coming back again to do what he's doing at LIU. Okay. So, the new word, Brother Mfundishi, is woke, this new woke community. And we used to hear about the Jehovah Witness with the awake,
right?
The watchtower. We used to hear about that when we was younger. So what do you feel about what has happened with this new woke community? Because there's a lot of argument, a lot of bickering, a lot of separation about Kemet and who's African and who's not and who's this. What do you feel from your perspective as an elder who's been in it for 50 years and in different disciplines of it? What do you feel about this new woke community, sir?
Well, I stay focused.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so all of this stuff all around, I'm oblivious to that. I stay in my art, truth, justice, righteous, harmonious balance. I don't debate nobody.
That's right. We don't.
I teach, like Dr. Clark said, I teach.
Exactly.
If what I teach is palatable to you and it sounds conscious and it sounds like it's the truth, then I say use it. If you hear me speak and it doesn't resonate with you, move on.
That's right.
I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm trying to help those who want to be helped, and they can use the information that I have. Right. So I stay right there, Brother Simon. We have brothers who are Kemetic priests and stuff who are debating people. Now, I ask somebody a question.
Right.
You get ready to debate this person, and I say, listen, if I can present to you facts that will show you that possibly what you're doing is not about the highest interest to our people. If I can show you that there's some fallacy in there and that it's not correct, would you change? And they say no. Well, then ain't it used to us having a conversation?
Exactly.
In other words, you telling me no matter what I say, no matter how dynamic my presentation is, no matter what facts I present, no matter how symptomatic my thinking is, that you're not going to change. So why are we debating?
Exactly.
Then that's just mental masturbation. So I don't do that, brother. I don't encourage that. I don't do that. I don't encourage it to my students. There's a piece of folklore that I just want to throw out there. I like to use proverbs and folklores.
Hey, please.
And the tiger is strolling through the tropical rainforest, and he runs across the donkey. And the donkey says, Grand Rising, tiger. He says, I know you're enjoying this blue grass out here. So the tiger looks at him and says, brother, grass is green. The tiger says, no, grass is blue. The tiger says, man, what's wrong with you? You know grass is green. The tiger, the donkey is like, no, man, you lost your mind. Grass is blue. And it's been blue for 1 million years. So the tiger gets tired of arguing with him and said, look, we're going to take this to the king. So they stroll over to the king, the lion, who's king of the tropical rainforest, right? He's in the savannah chilling and on his throne, taking a nap.
Yes, sir.
And they wake him up for this nonsense. So they wake the lion up, and he's like, this better be important.
Exactly.
And the tiger says, Your Highness, the great lion, he says, me and the donkey having a little argument here, and the donkey keep talking about the grass is blue. Well, you know the grass is green. And so the lion looked at him and says, you arguing with this jackass about is the grass blue or green? Listen, I'm going to punish you. You are going to be silenced for 1 year. You can't talk to anybody. Now get out of my face with this nonsense. So the tiger puts his tail between his legs and he walks away, and the donkey is all happy. Yay, 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 the grass is blue, the grass is blue, the grass is blue. And he just skips on down the road.
Right.
So the tiger is just like messed up. So he goes back to the lion. He says, listen, I respect your word, great lion. He says, but why did you punish me? You know grass is green. And the lion says, everybody who's conscious knows the grass is green. So why would you be arguing with the jackass? So I'm punishing you for arguing with the fool because now it makes you a fool. Now get out of my face with this nonsense. Okay. Okay, so that's just folklore, you know. So when you argue with a fool, you become a fool.
You become a fool, yes, sir. That's right.
And you don't waste no time with it. And then you don't go to your elders with some nonsense.
Exactly.
Okay, you know. So when you ask me a question about this, all these other people arguing about nonsense stuff. Oh no, I don't even deal with that.
That's right.
To me, that's like people running around talking about the grass is blue.
That's right. That's right. And that's what I recognize with a lot of you brothers and sisters in that genre. And I want to say happy birthday to one of our elders who transitioned in 2006. Today is her birthday, Dr. Frances Cress Wells. Because even when she debated, she handled on Donahue. She handled them.
Yes.
And she was able to use her psychological skill and deal with these people and prove herself through the ISIS paper, where I got the chance to meet her numerous times. So, you know, but what I loved about, you know, when you make that quote about Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, and all the great ones, I didn't see them debating, but I knew they had discussions behind the scenes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you was a part of ASCAT also. You know,
yes, sir.
What would when you seen their discussions with those great giants of those times, did you always notice that they still remained friends and still always was able to cross-reference with each other? Did you ever notice that with their elders?
Yes. Yes, they didn't agree on every point, but they agreed to disagree on certain things, but the bigger picture was always on tune.
Yes.
You know, and so that's what it's all about. So you got to ask people when you're presenting your program, well, what's the objective? What is the final objective you're trying to reach? Is this about African unity? Is this about Africans coming together throughout the whole diaspora? Is this about us empowering ourselves? Is this about us practicing our own culture? Because culture is your medicine. Right. You know, if this ain't about that, then I'm not even involved in that. I just move on.
Right, because I've noticed, you know, because I'm in between, you know, checking out and dealing with meeting with the elders like the Dr. Ben, Dr. Clarks, and watching the UAM back in the day, and all these places. And I know nowadays the consciousness have gotten kind of braggadocious. If you notice, you know, they bragging about I got knowledge and I'm better than you and all that kind of stuff. When it wasn't even about that, man.
No, it wasn't about that.
It wasn't about that. Not what I recognized when I was young. In this consciousness, even, you know, so, you know, the program, like I said, is can we change it and can it be healed? From your perspective, how can something like that be healed?
Yes, it can be healed. I talk about that culture is your medicine, Brother Simon. Right. There's on TBTV, there's a program on cultural war. How can we save our youth?
Right.
Okay. And they talk about the school system is not failing. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. And that's to keep us enslaved, keep us unconscious, keep us under European domination.
Right.
And so even when we got a PhD, it's from a European perspective. That's what that really means. Dr. Ben used to say, when you get your BS, that's bullshit. You got a bullshit degree. When you get the master's, you mastered the bullshit. When you get a doctor's degree, you power higher and deeper into bullshit. Okay.
Exactly.
I've taken it to another level, Brother Simon. The whole society, the government, excuse the expression, is defecating on us. When you get a degree, instead of getting defecated on, you become the toilet paper that he wipes his butt with. Your master's, the toilet tissue is a little softer. Right. When you get your doctor's degree, you got like Charmin. You got the softest tissue helping your master out, because Carter G. Woodson said our most educated in their paradigm will be our new enslavers.
Right.
And he wrote that in 1931. So he was clear about it. Okay. And so when, you know, I look at that now. So we got to step out of their paradigm.
Yes.
We got to step out of their culture. Dr. Clark taught me the best way to defeat your culture, your enemy's culture, is by practicing your own.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Not bad mouthing this. I ain't got time to be bad mouthing them. Practice your own. Now, in this cultural war that they're talking about, how do we capture our youth? What this brother did, he went around to all the major cities in America, and he found out who were the most dynamic teachers in terms of teaching Black people.
Right.
And so he would get like a group of 10. He would go to Chicago, Detroit, New York, New Orleans, Los Angeles. He went all the way around the country, and he gave them a cultural test, brother.
Right.
A dual cultural test, a European cultural test and an African cultural test. And brother, almost in every city, all of the scholars got an A, sometimes 100 on the European test, and almost everybody failed. Didn't do good, Simon, got an F on African culture.
Wow.
So if culture is our medicine and our best teachers don't really know African culture, then this is just semantics. We just going wonk, 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 wonk to the kids.
Right.
And they're not, because they can't see themselves. They're not proud about their culture.
Right. Right.
I mean, right now, look at the standard of beauty of Black women is white women's. We still the weaves, the wigs, the blonde hair, we got to look. The standard of beauty is still white women, even though we got some conscious sisters out there that's putting their hair natural. I'm talking about the dominant society of Black people is still engrossed in white culture.
Right.
And white culture is our standard.
Right. When at one time a standard of beauty was our beautiful women, like Dr. Shango used to talk about also back in the, big up to the late great Reverend Shango for sharing that type of wisdom, and all of y'all that's been sharing it too, because going back into even in your books, the spiritual warrior. Going back, I still have that thick book up there. It's right there with my Bible, sir. It's right there.
Okay.
Right there, because that's just as important. It's just as important.
So people who are in the audience, they'll know this is the book he's talking about. Spiritual Warriors Are Healers. I did this originally around 2001.
Yes.
And it's had 3 different printings to it. Okay, so I try to keep it updated.
Yes, don't worry. Get those other books. Get ready to show those other books too, because I got your website in the background and everything. Get ready to bring it up.
Okay, you're going to show that because my latest book is Menchu Hotep in the Spirit of Shemsu Haru, and then there's Menchu Hotep. And I'm really pushing this because I'm teaching classes on this.
Oh, good.
The book is a novel, a historical novel, but one of my students said, Mfundishi, you slick. This ain't just a novel. This is a textbook.
Yes. Yes.
And you can't read it once and think you comprehended what I was talking about. You got to read this 2 or 3 times.
Part 2 or part 1?
Huh? This is part 2. You got to read part 1. Yeah.
I didn't get part 2 yet. I got part 1. Definitely.
Okay. So this one is part 2, Shemsu Haru. You got to follow up, because what they're doing here is what we need to be doing now to liberate ourselves. We see the revolution going on the African continent right now.
Yes.
What are they doing? They're taking their culture back. They're kicking the European out. The Francophone countries, many of them are saying French will no longer be the national language of their country. They're going back to their original language, like in Tanzania, Swahili is the official language. And there are, I think, over 10 countries now in Africa who've adopted Kiswahili as their official language, So the African continent is going through a rebirthing.
And people don't know that you have been pushing Kiswahili and Meduneter for years. I mean, in martial arts, you teach one on one hand and one on the other hand.
Right. I do Kiswahili on one hand and Meduneter on the other. And I've been doing that since 1970s.
Exactly.
Since the 1970s.
Now, why is it so important to promote language, please, from your perspective? Explain.
Because language is the best expression of a culture. Language expresses your culture, your cultural thoughts on how you are attached to nature.
Right.
And that attached to nature is how you attach to the creator.
Right.
nature, then that which is divine.
Yes.
And so if you out of your culture, you out of your mind. Malcolm used to say, people think you didn't leave nothing in Africa. Malcolm said, you left your mind in Africa.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's a direct quote. Malcolm used to, you left your mind in. So culture is your medicine. And in this show, not only did all the scholars fail the African culture tests, they were embarrassed, brother. I'm talking about Detroit, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, New Orleans, Atlanta. They were embarrassed. One person, the highest grade, somebody got a C. Almost everybody else failed. Wasn't like no D's and nothing. Everybody else got an F when it came to African culture. So the only thing about the show is that they didn't show how do our scholars become more experts in African culture. They didn't do that. So my students said, well, Mfundishi, you've been stressing culture since the 1970s and 60s.
Yeah.
So again, culture is your medicine.
Right.
So, if you don't know your culture, you're going to be sick. We used to be the most long-lived of people. Now, Black men has the shortest lifespan on the planet.
Yes.
How did you go from the most long-lived when you were African to now you a Negro or colored or African-American? And now you got the shortest. Just in the name is showing you something's wrong. You don't even know what to call yourself. So nobody else has a problem calling who they are. We're 21 that change every 10 years. We change who we are.
We change. We got a new one now, and let me say this, because again today this Tuesday program that I started last week is called Today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community. And now we're debating on who's foundational this and who's foundational that. And it's like another form of separating us again, instead of bringing us and let's recognize each perspective of everybody's foundation everywhere. Because, when we study the Moorish paradigm, we realize that this is part of the Americas. All of it down to the Caribbean is a part of the Americas. But from your studies, because you've been studying for a long time, what was America named before it became America?
Well, the earliest name that I was taught was Turtle Island.
Turtle Island.
That was the earliest name I was taught. And we were taught, for example, that the oldest bones found of Homo sapiens in America goes back about 20,000 years ago. So that's before the Great Flood. Before the last Great Flood, Africans were here.
Right.
Now, Brother Simon, they just found pyramids and underground city underwater off the Gulf of Mexico.
That's why he's trying to rename it himself. He thinks he's
off the Gulf of Mexico. So now we know that before the Olmecs were the oldest Mexicans or Americans here, that you had these large Olmec heads. You had these large heads that you find all throughout of African people.
Right.
We had traces, some of the crowns that have been worn come from ancient Kush, which is the Happy Valley where Kemet is.
Right.
But now we're seeing that, wait a minute, there's pyramids off the Gulf of Mexico. So maybe these brothers were already over here and didn't have to cross the Atlantic. They were here and they just came onto the mainland, and the flood just put all that underwater. And so now we don't know where these people come from, because the indigenous people say they did not build those pyramids. The Mexicans, the red people, the Native Americans, even the mounds. When I was in Detroit, I was in contact with a Native American group, and I asked them about the mounds there. They said, oh, we didn't build that. That was here when we came. Black people built these. So we're the original people here.
Right.
I know, because we are so anti-African that
nowadays
we can have 2% Indian blood and we walking around looking like Cochise. We looking like Cochise. We got feathers in our hair and everything, But you 97% black, but you so. I heard somebody say one time the brother was 3% Irish, and his house looked like the Boston Celtics locker room.
Yeah, and I find that so I find that so ironic because when I got into this knowledge of self from through the 5% and all that, and when I started getting, my father took it upon himself to say, your great grandmother was white. I'm like, really? This is what we're talking about? This is because my great grandfather had a little fling with somebody. Now he's still dark. You still dark. Everybody around me dark. And now just because I got into knowledge about the black man is God and white man is the devil. Now you gonna throw this at me, really? Because my father, he's still alive today, but God bless his heart. God bless his heart. Rob bless his heart. But he actually started to throw that at me. And I said, really? And I'm glad I was still well studied, even at that time, as him coming back in and out of my life, that I was able to say, I'm looking at history, and I know there's some black men or black women that fell in love with slave colonizers and all that. We know what happened. Let's be real. I know that happened. So, but getting back to the point, we all watched the movies Roots back in the day. Many of us watched the movie Roots, and we knew when they changed Kunta Kinte's name, which was a promising, powerful name, to Toby, which meant nothing. It meant nothing. The changing of, and a lot of that started change. A lot of the consciousness of people started changing back then, and this day and time, I'm finding that a lot of people are disrespecting each other. If you came from Africa or came from the Caribbean or came from here, why is that from your perspective? Because you be on the streets of Harlem, and I know you hear it all the time. You see it. What do you think is happening?
Again, brother, even on the continent,
yes,
because of colonization,
yes,
just like we were bamboozled here,
yes,
our brothers on the continent were bamboozled at home.
Right. Okay. Yes, that's right.
So when they come here, most of them are trying to be like Europeans.
Yes, they are.
They become Afropeans. You notice most of our brothers and sisters who come directly from the continent don't get involved in anything political.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
They come here, they're about business, or they come here for education, but they're about business, but they don't get involved in no politics. They don't get involved in the African movement here. But now they're finding out that they get treated just like we get treated.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
The cops don't be listening to accents.
Oh my God, the police is chasing me right now.
Right.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care, So now they're beginning to realize that we're all in the same boat.
Right.
And racism is a monster.
It is.
In America, racism is systemic. It's part of the system. You can't even separate racism from America.
Right.
So when Trump is talking about make America great again, he's talking about make America white again. And he's talking about white male privilege. That's what they're upset about. Right. The number of blacks and Asians and other people who are coming into the society, white folks is becoming the minority and moving further down the totem pole. Like if you deal with economics, Asians and Indians make more money family-wise than all Europeans here in general. So you got Asians, you got the Indians, and then next you got Europeans is third. So they've lost this white privilege, up to the top. Right. And it's not even close. Indians is making like 120,000. They averaging 120,000 a year.
Wow.
The Indians are averaging 100,000 a year, and the white boy is averaging 55,000.
Wow.
And then next to them is Hispanics, and then the gay community, and naturally at the bottom, unfortunately, is black folks.
Land it right there. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with my brother Mfundishi. Jhutyms is in the mother flipping building, family. When I say that, give him a round of applause. And we'll be right back after this. Don't go nowhere, family. We're going to be right back after this. Don't touch that dial. Mfundishi is here live and direct, family. Hold on one second. Let me make sure everything is going well. Let me make sure this commercial is ready. And we are ready to run the commercial. And he'll be at Magical Kemet this weekend at the LIU in Brooklyn. We'll be right back after this.
Eye Opener Productions presents Magical Kemet Revisited, Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, from 1:30 p.m. till 7 p.m. In honor of our previous Magical Kemet event 14 years ago, we once again bring you Master Teacher Mfundishi, Jhutyms, and Professor Kaba Kamene.
In ancient Kemet, they had showed that that's not a star there. Yeah, I know it's a nebula. And a nebula gives birth to stars. And so Sirius A comes from that nebula. And then the ancient Kemet said, we also come from that nebula. That birthed our star. So this gets really deep. So we're going to, I'm telling people, bring some boots, because it's going to get real deep. We're going in real deep.
In calling, so you are now going to understand that it is time now to move back and get back onto the path of Ma'at. And on the path of Ma'at is where you are on your road to your destiny and what you were called for. And the longer that you go on this road, as you become an elder and you get more mature and you're moving through, your journey becomes clearer.
Make sure you get your tickets in advance for $30. Tickets will be sold at the door for $40. For tickets, scan this code or go to magicalkemet.eventbrite.com. We will be at the Long Island University, Brooklyn campus, Health Science Building. Enter at the gate on Flatbush Extension between DeKalb and Willoughby.
It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. Welcome back, family. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back, your brother King Simon. Remember, today we have our great grandmaster, the one, the only Mfundishi Jhutyms has. Tomorrow we have Mama Ella, holistic nutritional consultant and spiritual advisor, who will also be opening up at the Magical Kemet. And she's going to be speaking on it. Her family from the Congos and out of Haiti. I know her father's from the Congos and her mother's from Haiti. All right, to all the Haitian massive. And remember, Abundance Child will be with us on Today's Consciousness next week, Tuesday. Abundance Child from Drop Squad Kitchen will be there. Order of the Mother Earth will be with us. And don't forget, my brother is doing the Marcus Garvey Symposium at the Big Bethel AME Church in Atlanta, Georgia. So make sure you scan the QR code. I had my brother on, Samuel Lee Fudge. I had him on earlier this month, end of last month, and I can't wait. And don't forget, Abundance Child has her new radio show finally coming back. Remember, she used to be on Blog Talk and doing all that. She's coming back with her new radio show on WJVSradio.com starting August the 3rd. Launching is August the 3rd. And big up to my brother, Billy Carson. Oh, man, his third annual Forbidden Conscious Award, August 2nd and 3rd. Guess who's been nominated? People like Baba Phil Valentine's been nominated. People like Brother Rich has been nominated. People like 19 Keys has been nominated. People like Aaron Lyons has been nominated. People like Kendrick Lamar has been nominated. So it's going to be a star-studded event at Diplomat Hotel in Hollywood, Florida. I will be there holding down the red carpet as usual. What I do, that's what I do. Big up to my moderator in the building, Color Curiosity, doing what she does. Remember, she helps you to feng shui and per-unk your life. If you want to contact her, please contact Millicent Simmons at the number and her IG. And big up to Dr. Shakira Moore with her new book called The Iris Papers. Hey, she put a spin on the name, Isis Papers, and she got a thing from iridology called the Iris Papers. So she's coming out with a new book coming out. Get the pre-orders, and big up to Adara Moselle doing what she does in her very special way, adaramoselle.com. And also, I got to shout out Professor Zahalia Anderson, the daughter of Urban Muhammad, GM, Grandmaster Urban Muhammad. She's also teaching the spiritual and physical. She's been in the martial arts for 25 years under her father, under Dr. Moses Powell. So she's also doing the spiritual and physical perspective, advice, consultation, classes, all of that. And big up to my son with his cleaning service in Atlanta and my other son with his recording studio. If you want to do an audio book, produce a song, whatever, my son in Brooklyn, New York, got a great studio. He could help you out. And if you want to book a session with me, text me your full name, date of birth to 347-496-1022. Don't forget your email because I got to send you the details. So we are going to bring up our brother, the one, the only Mfundishi, back on the platform. Let's welcome our brother Mfundishi back in the building. Mfundishi.
We closed on the note.
Yes.
We're talking about education.
Yes.
I want to make this statement. The most educated group in America is Black women.
Yes.
Women of African descent are the most educated group. They get more master's degrees. Yes. And then Black women and Black men as a group got more PhDs than any group. But we're still at the bottom of the economic ladder.
Yes.
Now, I know your parents told you get a good education so that you could get a good job.
Right.
And that was going to get you up the ladder. Yes. So we got the good education. So I'm telling people, if you are culturally retarded, then you're always going to be at the bottom of the economics. Dr. J used to tell us you have economics.
Yes.
Then you have governance, politics, governance, economics, and culture.
Yes.
That's the pyramid.
Yes.
Politics, the governance, economics, and culture. You need to be in control of all three.
And
there's no city in America where Black people are in control of all three.
That's true. That's true. And I remember Dr. Jeffries used to talk about the VIP, values, interests, and principles that we have to also control too in our community and handle that in our community, which I'm going to have to, talk to. I know Kaba was speaking about that last time, but let's go in another direction, because I want to make sure that the magical Kemet is promoted, because I was there when you spoke on it at LIU back in the day. I was right there in the audience, and that's why I was very intrigued on what you drew on the board, because at that time you used the board and you were doing your thing.
Right, I was doing the Madhu Necha. I was pushing. See, remember, language is the best expression of your culture.
Right, that's right. And it was so funny. You said something, and Brother Rich spoke about it with Blue Pill today. Big up to Brother Rich. He should be in the chat. I just shouted him out. Big up to Brother Rich, and big up to Blue Pill. Now, they said something about Africa being upside down, and I remember you presenting that back in the day at Magical Kemet back in those days. Please talk about that.
In fact, brother, I'm glad you mentioned that, because right next to me here, our organization, Jehuti Haru Nebhu, have produced the most accurate map of the Happy Valley that exists in the world today. I'm kind of hope you can't hardly see it here.
Put it in
the map. It's a wall. It's a wall map.
Wow, that's nice.
And it has all the original names in the Madhu Necha with the glyphs.
Right.
And we have also a directory showing you the Arab and the Arab names, and also the Greek names.
Is that being sold on your website, sir?
It's being sold on my website, and I'll have them at the event.
Yes. Okay. Let me show them your website right now. Your website is up right there on the screen right now, showing people his website. He got all his books, of course, the master classes that he does. The Metu Neter Hotep, of course, Metu Neter Hotep, Metu Hotep. That's what you say. Right. That's the first book, and the other one is Shemshu Heru Metu Hotep. Correct. That's the second book, and of course, you going any more trips? You doing any museum trips again? You doing anything?
Yes. In fact, I want to put a crowd out right now. I'm even speaking from the Harlem International African Museum of History and Culture.
Yes, I've been there. Beautiful space, man. Nice.
Right. So, and we have two exhibits going on right now.
Okay.
We have an exhibit on Malcolm X.
Yes.
El Haj Malik El Shabazz. It's one of the most extensive pictorial exhibits that exists on the planet right now.
Right.
And we have an exhibit on Kemet and Western Africa. So we have the Kemetic and West Africa. So we're showing the whole diaspora. So we stress culture and history. Because remember, y'all, culture is your medicine.
That's right.
And we're trying to get a bigger space. And so we're doing some fundraisers and some things like that. We can't hold real large groups right now. So we can't do groups, but we can do individual tours. So you can come into New York, you can contact us at the Harlem International African Museum of History and Culture and get a tour, see Malcolm X and also Kemet and West Africa. So we're stressing it. And Simon, I need to say this. We've got to take control of our children's education.
That's right.
We got to take control. I remember in the 70s, we had a big movement on independent African schools. And now we're at an all-time low with independent African schools.
That's right.
I used to be with CB, the Council of Independent Black Institutions, and I was an Ndundun member. Right. And I remember in the 1970s, we had over 100 and something, almost 200 schools that belonged to our organization. Right. But by 2000, it was down to less than 25.
Wow.
And so they've decimated,
No, I understand.
They brought in charter schools and put the private schools out of business, and then the charter school went out of business. And then you wrap back into public schools again. And then we got a large number of Black people in Catholic schools and stuff like that, which is anti our culture.
That's right.
That's right. And so, brother, if we're not talking about educating our youth, we're not even talking about anything.
That's right.
Me and you got what? We got a half a century. We got a quarter century. Left.
Yeah. I know.
The average age of an African is 17. The continent.
17.
17 years old.
What?
The average age of a Nigerian, which is the largest African group on the continent, is 19.
When you say the average age, what do you mean? Please.
That means if you take all the people on Africa,
right,
and add their ages up and divide them by that number, the average is going to be that. For example, like in Italy, the average age of an Italian is 50. They're an old society. They're almost checking out. That's why when the virus came through, it wiped out all those senior citizens there, almost like that,
Right.
So the Europeans, they love that because now they don't have to pay no Social Security or nothing like that, They just wipe you out.
No, let me let people know you can call in right now and speak to our Baba Mfundishi if you want, or you can also come up and cam up if you want. If you want to cam up, I put the StreamYard link in here just to talk. We got another half an hour to talk to him if you want, but I want to let people know that Magical Kemet is happening this weekend in the LIU as Brother Shabazz return to Burn and do what he got to do to help educate. Vendors are also welcome and all of that. So make sure y'all support, show them love in every way, and make sure y'all come on over to Magical Kemet. I ran the commercial earlier, and those that are going to be in Brooklyn, if you could be downtown Brooklyn, it's not too far from the McDonald's around there, not too far from all of the major train stations over there. And you could also pay at the door if you can't pay in advance. And you can also, family, actually do the live stream if you want to. The live stream is pinned to the top of the chat if you go to the live stream. Big up to Hoppy that's producing the live stream, and big up to all of y'all that's going to be there. So make sure y'all support the live stream if you want to check out that thing live and direct. Magical Kemet, and back of it, there's my name is at the back. So hold on 1 second. I know my name is also at the back of that magic. Because anybody who support that link, let me make sure that link is up, because anybody who support that link will also be helping your brother out too. So I like that. So, Baba, what can they expect at Magical Kemet this time? This is like 13 years in. What can they expect?
I'm going to naturally, my brother wanted us to touch on some of the stuff that we did 14 years ago, but also take it forward, So if you can remember at that I talked about Medu Neter was our classical language.
Yes.
And that we can't let Europeans define Kemet for us.
Right.
We have to define it through our paradigm. Mm-hmm. That's why they got Egyptology, so that they can take our science and give it back to us through their paradigm.
Right.
So if you're taking hieroglyphics, that's not Medu Neter.
Right.
That's our language through a European paradigm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I stress that the Medu Neter was a language connected to nature, and you were going to learn what nature was about symptomatically by understanding the Medu Neter. If you remember, I had all the statues up on my desk, and I broke down these are not idols and gods, that these are Neteru, principles and laws.
Okay.
And so I'll be, talking about that again, because a lot of our people are enslaved in religion. Right. Religion means to bind, to hold back, to control. It came about in the Piscean age. So you teach about this. That was the age of the control of the mind. We're now moving into the Aquarius age, where religion, for example, in Europe, the most of the people who are Christians and Catholics today are Hispanics. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If we look, we have more Africans who are Muslim than Arabs and Asians together. So we out Christian the Christians. We out Muhammad the Muslims. We out Jehovah the Jehovah Witnesses. And all of us are out of our mind. All of those institutions were given to us through enslavement. So anytime that your former enslaver gives you his religion, it's not in your best interest. Because culture, remember, Malcolm said, if your deities don't look like you, then that's a problem.
Exactly.
So spirituality is different from religion. So at the magical Kemet, that's what made us so magical, is our spirit.
Yeah.
The connection to the universe. See, let's go beyond the pyramids. Let's go beyond the temples. No doctrine, nobody has written more literature than in the Happy Valley. Brother Simon, you can go any place in the world and you go to a museum and you're going to see Kemetic artifacts. You don't see Babylonian artifacts in every museum in the world. Mm-hmm. You don't see European, but you'll see ancient Kemet artifacts.
Right.
And the standard of life among the ancient Kemetu has never been met. And slavery was not part of the Kemetic paradigm.
Right.
That's somebody's religion put that on you so that they can get some sympathy.
Right.
And so that they can see, when they stole our cultural legacy, they needed an alibi. So they made up Moses, who comes from the Canaan paradigm, who was raised, put in the basket in the manger, was raised by the royal family. That's not even Kemet. That was from cuneiform.
Right.
So they took these stories from Medu Neter and from cuneiform and created their own book.
Right.
But if we don't do, Malcolm said, history rewards all research.
That's right. I remember that. That's right. Now, Baba, I have somebody in the background that wants to come in right now.
Yes, sir.
I want to say to everybody that's coming on, if you're calling in, make sure you turn down your apparatus if you're calling in on the phone, but make sure your camera's on if you're coming up on my feed right now. Let me see. Power is in the building. What's up, Power? How you doing, sir?
Peace, Hotep.
How you doing,
Hotep.
Everything all right?
Of course. The number that is on the screen, I called it, but it shows that it doesn't go through. So this is another way that I try to enter.
Oh, you know what? There's a wrong number up there. I'm sorry. Let me go change that. Go ahead.
No worries.
Go ahead. Ask him a question while I do what I do. Okay.
The brother Mfundishi is very aware of. Good to see you, brother Hotep.
Hotep.
Again, the brother knows that I always come visit him. 125th Street, and I'm always bringing an abundance of questions. So I think today I'm not going to bring any questions. I just want to come show Mur as always, because the brother has definitely awakened me in my journey, and I know that he's been doing divine work on this path of many of ours. And I just want to speak to the point of how we speak of how it's very hurtful to hear of Africans in the diaspora and also on the continent, of how a lot of the statistics that we are using to kind of compare and contrast different cultures and ethnicities around this planet. And it's really sad to hear that there's a certain sorry, I'm in the car. There's a certain there's a stigma that Africans in the diaspora and on the continent, are not so-called good enough, or they don't reach the standard. And I think I want to say on a universal level, I feel that, to me personally, and again, you can elaborate, I feel like now it's more so individually of how the message gets across and who it's affecting on their path. Aside as a collective, as much as we want to help others on their path collectively, I think now is reaching individuals individually on their path, and those who are putting the commitment, putting the time and effort. And at the same time, aside from time, effort, and commitment, I think we all have healing in the journey, and the healing has to be in the forefront, because for me personally, I can speak for myself. I'm still very much programmed and downloaded with the upbringing of living in the society here in America. Right. But on my path and journey, of course, meeting the brother Mfundishi, a major, most important part of myself has awakened, but it still shows me I have a lot of work to do. But I followed that light. I followed that energy. And the more that I commit myself to healing, to learning, to also meeting with the brother and always, asking questions, I'm still putting the pieces together. I'm not whole yet, but I know that I'm part of a whole. And so I'm a fragment. Go ahead, brother.
Hold on one second. Are you coming to the event this weekend?
If I have my Sunday available, I will be coming for sure. I try my best to come to as many events. Brother Mfundishi knows that when I can't, I'm there. My face is present, but, again, and to tie this in, I wish I don't want to say the word wish, but I try as best as I can to attend a lot of these conscious events, a lot of these meetings, because, again, I'm still very much connected into, I want to say, my matrix life. Right. But at the same time, I am cultivating my spiritual life while in the physical, but I'm again still picking up the pieces and learning, unlearning, right?
Yes, sir.
Reprogramming, elevating, but at the same time, it's I would say it's a divine challenge, yes. Because there's still so much that I still find myself doing that sometimes it could be subconsciously. And so that's just part of the whole collective of my journey. And so, I chose to come up here, not with any questions, but also for those who are watching to send that good energy, that good vibration of continue on your journey. You're not alone, but it may feel alone because your path is your path. Your path might be lonely, but that's all for a bigger purpose and cause. But before you know it, you will see that you're not alone, and there's a collective of us, maybe not billions, but there's definitely those who are on their path, on their journey of healing. And, we all here for each other one way or another, whether you on the other side of the planet, whether you in America, but brothers like King Simon, brothers like, Baba Mfundishi.
Yes, sir.
They're here to still keep that light alive, keep that sound very much heard, and we just have to continue doing our part. That's because right. Again, our paths will cross. That's right. Our paths will cross, and before you know it, while you're doing the work, while you're working on yourself, you'll see that even when you feel that at your lowest, you're gonna see that it's all part of the divine purpose. Okay. And we want to put so much control in things, and there's so much that we can't control. Sometimes you can't. Go ahead, brother.
You've said a lot. Let me get some more callers in, but I want to thank you very much for coming on, my brother, for just sharing.
No problem. Right? Hotep. Peace, brothers, to all of you. Mur.
Hello. Yes, sir. Our brother, yeah. Also, I want to go to the phone line. Who's on the phone line with us right now?
Hey, peace, Simon. God bless you all. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh my God. Now, this is the Grandmaster of Teachers, Mfundishi. I just would like to say thank you, because I am who I am because of you. I grew up across the street from Black Gold in Plainfield, and my father, Wayne, used to bring me in your store. We would walk around as kids, 6, 7 years old, and you had the African mask all around in the statues. If I've never have gone into your store, I probably wouldn't be who I am today. And I just want to say much love and respect to you, because when I think of my history and my teaching growing up in the hood, people don't look at Plainfield as a hood, but it is.
Right.
It had its own ghetto, and your store was in the middle of all the chaos. And all the kids would just come in. You never turned anybody away. And even though I didn't understand what I was looking at, here I am, 48 years old, and I know who I am just because you allowed me into your store, not having no money. You let the whole community into your place, and I just want to say thank you. And look, and now I know Brother Simon, my other elder, my beloved, my friend, my teacher. It's all because I met you, which led me to him 30 years later. So God bless you, King Simon. This is so dope. This is the Michael Jordan of the conscious community. I know we all got our favorites, but to me, this is the Grandmaster. God bless you all.
Hold on. Can you hear me? Hold on.
Yes, I can hear you.
Do you want to go to the event on this weekend?
Is it in Brooklyn?
It's in Brooklyn.
Oh, I'm definitely.
I tell you what, no, because Mr. G, who wrote the Dr. Sebi book, says he can't make it. He bought 2 tickets and he want to give away 2 tickets. So I'll give you.
I will definitely take them.
I'll give you 1 ticket. I'm gonna give you 1 ticket. Just make sure you text me at this same number. Just text me at the same number so I can your email. Text me your email, and I got you. You're the first person that I'm getting. The next person that called in.
And I hope you receive the same love and gifts back. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, beautiful. Thank you. Text me. Remember to text me, okay? Text me. All right.
I got you.
All right. That's right. We have Mr. G. I got to big up Mr. G. He just gave us 2 tickets. Big up to Mr. G, who wrote the Dr. Sebi book. He said he paid for 2 tickets, but he has to go out of town. So I'm going to give out 1 ticket each. So I just gave it to that young lady. I need 1 more person to call in or come up on the screen. The only reason I didn't give it to the brother, because he said if it's Sunday, it's open, and said, hey, look, I ain't going to do all that. I ain't waiting for all of that. So, Mfundishi, how do you feel when you hear that young people are calling in saying they used to come up in your store, your shop back in the day, and you never turned them away? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so please talk about that, because that Black Gold shop was no joke, bro.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, it just lets people know I've been consistently on this journey. I opened up Black Gold in 1978.
Mm-hmm.
I started teaching in 1972. Mm-hmm. I graduated from college in 71.
Right.
So I've been teaching at the college level, high school, junior high, elementary. I taught at 3 different independent African schools. You know, so when I talk about education, I've done it. It's not a theory.
Right.
You know, so people just see that I've been consistent, and I still got another 25, 30, 40 years, you know. Let's just make this happen.
Exactly. Family, if y'all have not made it, if y'all haven't got your tickets yet, and if you can't make it to New York, there is a link to the live stream right now pinned to the top of the chat. This link right now is pinned to the top. If you can't make it to New York, but if you can, they're selling tickets at the door, and it's almost sold out. So y'all better jump in there. I think you got like half sold now. So if that's the case, man, y'all better get it over there. And people are calling Brother Shabazz and all that. Hold on 1 second. Let me play that commercial one more time. So we can really and come back to Mfundishi. And anybody who calls in will win 1 ticket to the event if you're in New York. Do not just call me if you're not in New York. I got 1 more ticket left. For Mr. G, just gave us this ticket. Big up to my brother, Mr. G, who wrote the Dr. Sebi book, his journey with Dr. Sebi. He bought 2 tickets. He can't make it. Boom. He gave me 2 tickets to give away. So I gave away 1 already. I'm going to give away 1 more. And we're giving it away to this event coming up this coming weekend. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after this.
Eye Opener Productions presents Magical Kemet Revisited, Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, from 1:30 p.m. till 7 p.m. In honor of our previous Magical Kemet event 14 years ago, we once again bring you Master Teacher Mfundishi, Jhutyms, and Professor Kaba Kamene.
In ancient Kemet, they had showed that that's not a star there. I know it's a nebula. And a nebula gives birth to stars. And so Sirius A comes from that nebula. And then the ancient Kemet said, we also come from that nebula. That birthed our star. So this gets really deep. So we're going to, I'm telling people, bring some boots, because it's going to get real deep. We're going in real deep.
Calling,
So
you are
Bishop-
now going to understand that it is time now to move back and get back onto the path of Ma'at. And on the path of Ma'at is where you are on your road to your destiny and what you were called for. And the longer that you go on this road, as you become an elder and you get more mature and you're moving through, your journey becomes clearer.
Make sure you get your tickets in advance for $30. Tickets will be sold at the door for $40. For tickets, scan this code or go to magicalkemet.eventbrite.com. We will be at the Long Island University, Brooklyn campus, Health Science Building. Enter at the gate on Flatbush Extension between DeKalb and Willoughby.
All right. We are back. Anybody who wants to call in right now to win one ticket to go, you pay for the other ticket at the door of India, but you get one ticket right now. I got one more ticket left if you want to go and see one of our great grandmasters alongside my brother Kaba Kamene, alongside Chief, alongside, of course, hosted by Professor James Small, alongside, of course, Mama Ella. You want to be in the building. And let's go to the phone line. Somebody's on the phone line. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is Tiffany Wright from Detroit.
Tiffany, you coming into New York or what? What you do?
I really want to come. I'm really thinking about it because I would love to see Mfundishi. Mfundishi, this your homegirl. I have been to Kemet with you the last 3 years.
Yes, Tiffany, how are you doing? Peace and harmony. It's good to hear your voice. I know your voice.
He say he know your voice, girl. He know your voice. You definitely.
Scrolling through and I see y'all on and I got so geeked up.
What up though? What up though? That's Detroit. They got their own language out there. I love.
I'm just calling to say hi and I love you guys so very much.
Man.
So very much. And
Okay.
I'm gonna see what I can do about coming down there.
See, I would give you a ticket if you was in New York now. I got one ticket left, but you can't make it. I don't want to give away no ticket. You can't make it.
I don't want you to do that. And
Yeah.
I don't mind supporting. So
Okay.
I would love for you to get that to somebody who is already there.
I appreciate you so much. I love Detroit. Matter of fact, I love Nandy's shop and all of that. Nandy Knowledge Place. I used to do a lot of lectures over there. Big up to her. Big up to the Detroit all the time. I love the Detroit women. They treat me so good.
Thank you, Tiffany. Peace and harmony. I love you, my sister. Thank you.
He said, love you, my sister, okay?
Thank you. I love you guys too.
All right,
Thank
peace
you.
and love.
Okay.
All right, Detroit in the building, calling in. That's what I'm talking about. Love me some Detroit. Let me make sure I give y'all brother Shabazz number just in case y'all couldn't scan the QR code for this weekend's Magical Kemet. Let me give y'all brother Shabazz's number. Let me make sure I put it in here. And you want to land your plane? You want any last words, my brother, before we leave? Magical Kemet, go ahead.
Well, no. I want to just leave people again that culture is your medicine.
Yes.
We need to be dealing with symptomatic thinking. We need to be in a spiritual state. We need to be talking about Pan-African unity. We need to be able to support each other mentally, physically. The only reason why I mentioned that the average age of an African was 17 is because African countries are asking Africans in the diaspora to come back home.
Yes.
Ghana has accepted more Africans from the diaspora than any other African country. But now Burkina Faso, all these other places, Kenya, they're saying you wouldn't even have to go through no waiting period. Just come and apply and you will get your citizenship.
Right.
And so we need to be thinking about developing a business So we're that young, 17 and 19.
Yes.
That means that they need everything.
Yeah.
So no matter what business you develop here, you can bring to Africa. And we got to be thinking economically. Remember, governance, economics, culture.
Yes.
So I just want to say that, and keep spiritual, not religious, but spiritual. And don't be arguing about religion. No. We need to be on one accord. What is your main objective? How do you want to become godlike and be the kings and queens that we're supposed to be?
Yes.
And so come out on Saturday and Sunday. Come out Sunday and be with us. I said Saturday because Saturday, my shrine is going to be at the Tekken in Central Park, celebrating the spring equinox. So we do this. We do the spring equinox, the summer solstice, the fall equinox, and the winter solstice. So we do that every year. So this Saturday coming up, we'll be celebrating the spring equinox at Central Park at the Tekken.
So if anybody want to contact him, his email is right here too, Mfundishi@gmail.com. If you want to find out
information, right. And my website, Mfundishi.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, I got that too. Yes. So Baba Mfundishi, I wish I could make it in, brother, but when I come in town, I'll be up in Harlem visiting you anyway. You know how
okay.
I know it's warm outside, so you're gonna be outside. So
yeah,
it's warm outside. He gonna be outside if it's warm outside. So enough respect. But he's out there even in the winter, family. That's how deep it gets, man. Oh, but I'm glad that you have a nice space, a nice little museum now, doing what you got to do to help share the wisdom. And it's a beautiful spot. Actually, he put me in his car and drove me right over there. The last time I went over. Beautiful. I'm glad that we went in his car. He showed me the spot and right in a nice building and all that. And it's a real respectable area. So y'all gotta support Mfundishi Jhutyms in everything that he does and all the lessons that he offers and the books, because when you bring your children back, just like the Jews do, they'll put them in public school, but they're gonna teach them when they come back home. Teach your children. If you got to put them in public school, cool, but you got to get them out of the deducation system and teach them your real live-cation system. That's the one that keep us living. Our knowledge keeps us living and going on. But Baba Mfundishi, thank you very much for coming on, my brother.
Brother King Simon, it's always a pleasure being with you. Yes, knowing you for about at least 30 years, it's always been a pleasure. We've always been vibing on a very high level, always.
Yeah, we born under that misnomer. Aquarius is called Happy.
Right. We born on the Happy. And you got a son with the same birth date as mine, 0123. Yes.
Exactly. All right, beloved. Thank you very much for coming in, man. All right.
All right now.
Hotel. All right, my brother. Yes, sir. Oh man, that was a good show. Anybody who wants to call in, one person who want to call in and get these tickets, one more ticket. I got one more ticket left. If y'all want to be at Magical Kemet, brother, courtesy of Mr. G, the great Mr. G gave me one ticket to give away. If you're going to call in or you want to come up live, please do so. Remember, big up to Mfundishi Jhutyms website. Make sure y'all support Mfundishi Jhutyms. He got his new books out there. He got the masterclass on his website also. He got trips to Kemet. He got trips in the museum in New York and all of that. He does all of that and he is well sought after teacher of not only Kiswahili but also Meduneter. He's very good. And if you learn martial arts from him, he teaches martial arts from not only on one hand, he teaches the Kemetic language of Meduneter. On the other hand, you're going to learn it through Kiswahili. So that means you're going to be punching in two different languages and kicking in two different languages. That means it'll help you to learn. So put your children in it if you have to. He got other teachers under him that could teach children and all of that. So let me see. Oh, he coming back on. He coming back on. What's up? If you call me again?
No. I just went out by accident.
Okay, no problem, Baba. All right. Yes, sir. All right, so our dear brother is doing what he got to do. Make sure you support his website. I just showed the website just now. Make sure you support his website and everything that he got, the cards, the educational cards. He got the membership, Ma'at membership, the Heru membership, the Jhuty membership. He got the masterclass. He got the masterclass 2. if you want to learn, here is somebody that's been in it over 40 plus 50 years now. Over 50 years. Go register at his website right now and show him love. And make sure y'all hail him up and buy his products at the event. The event is going to be off the hook. Believe me, it's been 13, 14 years since they've been all together doing their thing. So I'm so happy to know that Kaba will be there, Kaba Kamene. Of course, Professor James Smalls will be there. Brother Check, I forgot the brother name, Chief. I forgot his full name, Chief. He's been there. He's going to be there. Of course, Mama Ella's going to be there. And it's going to be hosted by Eye Opener, my dear brother Shabazz, and his beautiful Empress, Jamila, another fellow Aquarian, a fellow Hoppian like us. Jamila is going to be here. She's born the same day as Elizabeth Carson. So that's going to be beautiful because they got so much good energy doing it. So I'm so happy that they're going to be there. Family, just want to remind you that tomorrow I have another one of the speakers that's going to be there. Mama Ella going to come with this fire. Dum, dum, dum. You call it fire. She gonna come with it. She gonna come with it tomorrow. So Mama Ella will be with us tomorrow. So you want to be in the building. We're gonna have a good time. I'm telling you right now. And remember, Abundance Child is coming up on the 25th right here, Today's Consciousness, because we're going to be promoting her new radio show called Abundance Child Live on WJVSradio.com. That's going to be big, I'm telling you. And big up to my brother, of course, doing the Marcus Garvey Symposium right here in Atlanta. Scan that QR code or go to AtlantaJamaicanAssociation.org and come on out and go check out this Marcus Garvey Symposium that they're having. And don't forget, August 2nd and 3rd is the annual Forbidden Conscious Awards, an annual Forbidden Conscious Award, Diplomat Hotel in Hollywood. I forgot to ask Mfundishi how he feels about a lot of the alien talk. I forgot to ask him that, so I'm not going to do that. You know, he's still backstage. I should bring him back up and ask him. You want to talk about it, Mfundishi, real quick? I'm gonna bring you.
I'm gonna leave the alien stuff to Billy Carson.
Okay, no problem. All right, later. I'm gonna do it, you know. But you know, respect to Billy, because Billy always said that they're our ancestors. That's what Billy said. But also, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught on the mothership and the mother plane, saying that they came from here and went out. Not the other way in. So it is what it is when you go back to the lessons of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Big up to Wesley Muhammad, who I'm going to have on too. And I might have Iliad Rashad come in also, because the messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, been teaching about that mother plane stuff for years. He got arrested for a lot of that stuff. So enough respect to him. And of course, family, if you want to get any of my books, please go to Amazon. Right now, I got signed copies. If you want to get any of my signed copies for the month of March, I have 14 copies left. I will sign it for you, your first name, and you'll sign it out to whoever you want me to mail it to or whatever. We'll mail it out, but only for those in the United States, because whatever's happening in the mail system right now, they are charging $30 to mail a $30 book to Canada. How does that work? $30 to mail a $30 book? I'm not doing that. That's not a thin book like that. I'm not doing that. So only for those in the United States, you can get my books. And unless you go through Amazon, go to Amazon.com. I do have shares in Amazon, so I can promote Amazon. Amazon.com. So it is what it is. And get all of my books on Amazon right now. All of my books is available. And don't forget, Mfundishi's books is also available through his website. Make sure y'all support his website. And remember, Color Curiosity, support Color Curiosity and what she's doing. Dr. Shakira Moore with what she's doing with her new book coming out. Adara Moselle, moving that negative energy. Go hit her up at adaramoselle.com. If you want to learn martial arts online and offline, eye to eye, heart to heart, check out my sister, Professor Zahalia. If you're in the Atlanta area and you want some handyman work, or you want some pressure wash, car detailing, and dumpster wash, contact my son, JB. He got his JB services. He's doing his thing. And my other son in New York, born the same day as Mfundishi, this son right here, he has a recording studio. So if Mfundishi even wants to do a audio book, he can go to my son's studio and get it done. A nice audio book and break down, read the book and let people buy audio books. He can also go to my son's right there. He got a great studio in Brooklyn, New York, not too far from Mr. G spot, vegan spot also. So big up to Mr. G and my son. They work together sometimes. And if you want to book a session with me, I got 4 different levels of sessions now. I got the 10-minute, the 15-minute, the 30-minute, and the 60-minute session. If you want to book a session with me, remember, numerology is not psychic. Numerology is the study of numbers that helps to pay attention to patterns, cycles, and sequence while using math. That's what we do. That's how I do. And that's why I call it numerovation, because I motivate you with your numbers by using different motivational principles. Remember, the next new book is coming out. The ebook is coming out, Spiritual Lessons Volume 2. And my Angel Numbers book, the Numerovational Angles and Angel Numbers book by King Simon, is coming out also. Remember what Dr. B says, family. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I am thankful for my life. And remember what Dr. Blair used to say, please, Universal Creator, know in our heart that we love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. Gotta honor these elders, man. People like Mfundishi, people like the late great Dr. Laila Africa, Dr. Sabi, Paul Goss, all of the Baba Heru is still with us, but his brother just transitioned. Payor, big up to him. The Baba Payor, big up to him, and all the great elders that are transferring from one realm to the next realm. Big up to all the great musicians that have transferred from one realm to the next realm in this number 9 frequency year. And my former father-in-law just transitioned the other day at 91. Hey, people are leaving every year, every day. But when you see that elders that taught you certain things, that made you laugh, that made you think, that made you cry, that made you realize how important it is to enjoy life and learn as much as you can, I want to thank y'all very much for coming to today's every Tuesday show, call-in show, and thank everybody that called in from Detroit and from New York and all over the place. Today's consciousness in the conscious community, what happened and how can we change it and heal it? Audience participation and all of that. We want to thank again our great Mfundishi Jhutyms for coming in. Have a great day, afternoon, and evening. Remember what I always say, I love you because I love me. Peace and love. Take care. Today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Today's consciousness. Today's consciousness. Right here on KSP TV. Today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it?
Eye Opener Productions presents Magical Kemet Revisited, Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, from 1:30 p.m. till 7 p.m. In honor of our previous Magical Kemet event 14 years ago, we once again bring you Master Teacher Mfundishi, Jhutyms, and Professor Kaba Kamene.
In ancient Kemet, they had showed that that's not a star there. I know it's a nebula. And a nebula gives birth to stars. And so Sirius A comes from that nebula. And then the ancient Kemet said, we also come from that nebula. That birthed our star. So this gets really deep. So we're going to, I'm telling people, bring some boots, because it's going to get real deep. We're going in real deep.
In calling, so you are now going to understand that it is time now to move back and get back onto the path of Ma'at. And on the path of Ma'at is where you are on your road to your destiny and what you were called for. And the longer that you go on this road, as you become an elder and you get more mature and you're moving through, your journey becomes clearer.
Make sure you get your tickets in advance for $30. Tickets will be sold at the door for $40. For tickets, scan this code or go to magicalkemet.eventbrite.com. We will be at the Long Island University, Brooklyn campus, Health Science Building. Enter at the gate on Flatbush Extension between DeKalb and Willoughby.
So remember, our job as studiers of these metaphysical, esoteric knowledge is to help enhance people to be better. I, as a numerator, using the numbers, or quote-unquote numerals, and motivation to get people to understand why they need to activate their numbers to be their very best self and maximize it. Because the numerals hold a frequency, and if you're willing to turn up that frequency, then that frequency can help to guide you and navigate you to a higher height that will allow you to spiral to be your best self. We must remember that.